Alrighty. What's going on? Today we're going to be going ahead and live streaming Gold Cup or Golden Cup number 4. Hope everybody's doing well today. Yesterday we live streamed the Prestige Cup, and today we're going to do more Q&A while we do the Golden Cup. So let's go ahead and get on into it. Hope everybody's doing well, and I'll talk to you guys during the Q&A all along. So feel free to post up any questions. Going to do one little last shameless promo before I get started. Just loaded up the game. Jump on in here. And there we go. And with that said, I've done some racing today, and now I got my cell phone up. I moved up in ranks, and now I'm number 3 again. I'm probably going to have to get over the 800,000 mark in order to step, but I got 4 hours left, so we'll see how we do and see if we can earn those 35 silver keys for this personal season. So I'm going to go ahead and collect my 10 silver keys that I have today for Jerry's Daily Prize. Make sure if you're playing the game, every day you collect all the freebies that you're able to get, because a lot of games don't give you free things. And this annoying, the Fate of the Furious pop-ups continues to come no matter what we do. But we're not going to worry about it too much. One thing about it is, I do have the Porsche 911R. I have not tuned it yet. So I'm going to go ahead and do a couple races with it. And if I need to tune it, I'll go ahead and get a tune going. I'm just going to tune it for maximum EV. And see how I'll be able to do with there. But let's go ahead and jump on into the races. Actually, before I do that, I forgot I have my daily battle to do. Wanted to take care of that before the stream got started, but jumping on in here and taking care of that. So let's see what car I get to race today. This is the 3rd time today I got to race the LB GTR R35 Premium from Nissan. I do like how they do the daily battle, where as soon as the race starts up, they have a little intro screen, has the manufacturer symbol up on there, has the make and the model. I do like that little screen that they added on there. I think that's a nice touch. So I was able to successfully win that race. The Chiron that I use is the CSR Red Edition. It came out last year. I believe it was $19.99 as part of the red that Apple was running, and it was only available to Apple users. And the Chiron Red was a limited edition. I think it ran for 10 days or 14 days, something along the lines with that. But it was a $20 investment. I've taken a good deal of time and got it upgraded over the last year or so with it. Let's see what prizes I get. Okay, I'll take a Bogmano part, especially since it's blue. And I got a 1-star rarity card. Let's see what they give me. More than likely tier 1. Let's see. Door opens up, tier 2, WRX from Subaru. This is the lower end Subaru for the WRX. They do have the higher end one, which is a tier 5, which happens to be Tej's car from the Fate of the Furious. I actually have this car in my inventory, so it's going to pop up and ask me, do I want to strip it? I have a good amount of Subaru parts already, so I might upgrade this to stage 5. I'm not for sure, haven't decided yet. But as you can see here, I have a number of other cars in my garage already that are all ready for stripping. And once I get done with this, I'm gonna go ahead and strip those cars off, so you can take a look and see what parts I get along with me. So I got the Mustang car. It's currently sitting at 35 of 42. I have no fusions on it, no stage 6. I upgraded that just for the fusion and the parts. I got the GTR 35 of 42. These were all purchased cars that I had purchased. So all of these cars in this collection here are just cars that I purchased. Before I strip them, I'm going to actually do some races with them so I can see what type of points that I get. This car I received out of a crate when I had to pull 15 crates to get the Prestige Cup car. So this is an Aventador with 3 stars on it. Sitting right next to it is the tier 2, the one that I purchased. This one is no stars. You get lower fusion points with it. Then when you put freshness on it, you get more RP points out of it. When I received this car, I didn't do any upgrades on it already because there's no additional Fiats that we're going to get in the game. And my Fiat that I currently have is a 1-star and it's currently loaded up with 27 fusion parts on it. So I felt there was no need to upgrade the car to get more fusion parts on it when there's going to be no more Fiats added to the game. So I'm not going to get any benefits by getting more points. This is another Aventador that I received. I upgraded this as well. 35 or 42 upgrades, 110 fusions. But look at this. This is an F12 Berlinetta. This is a no-star car. And this no-star car has 96 fusions on it. So when you're in the buy car section, it shows you what these cars are valued at. It doesn't actually give you the number of fusions. What it gives you is how many additional fusions it has. You only see this on cars that show up in the buy car section that has additional stars on them, so they cannot be customized. So for a tier 5 car, you get 96 fusions on it. If you get the star version of that car, it becomes 110. And any of those additional cars, they typically have a higher number on there, which equals out to 128 fusions on it for the 4-star to 5-star if it's a tier 5. You can't open up the car doors on your car because you have a lower end one. It's an okay feature being able to open it up and look into it, but one of the things that I'm not the biggest fan is you can't really go in and see all the details on the cars, because you can open the doors, you can go in and see some, but you can't really see a lot of details with it. But one of the cool things that they added in there is with the augmented reality that they have on the Apple devices. That augmented reality allows you to zoom in super close onto the cars and see all the little details on it. And those details show you the engines, it shows you the dials on the inside of the car. Stage 6 upgrades again, is this like 3 times in a minute? I'm gonna go ahead and jump into the race, but there's a lot of cool little features that you can see, but the features are really once you actually use the augmented reality. But let's go ahead and jump off into doing the 911 races. So let's go up to the Golden Cup. I have 2 days and 23 hours left on it, but we're going to complete it now. And we're going to do the first race. It's a half-mile race. It says it is easy. I don't think I've actually drove this car, so I have no clue what the shifting patterns is like on it. I believe I only have, I have 41 or 42 upgrades on it, and I only have about 30 or 40 fusions on it. And those fusions that are on the car is actually uncommon. Since I never actually drove the car, I never really cared to do anything but just put on the excess fusions that I had. Uncommon fusions come very frequently in the game. They're very easy to take off of a car if you need. So I'm a big believer in taking off the uncommons if that's what you have to, but I bought them on cars as often as possible. So let's go ahead and get this puppy going. Okay, we got a long dial on there, so we'll probably have to do a little bit more than 2 seconds to get a perfect start. And hopefully the car won't stall out on us, but look at that. We won that race pretty easy. In the half mile, I ran roughly 11.548 with no knives being fired. I don't think that's too bad at all for a car that just has stage 6 on it. You're actually pretty close to being able to take Shaq's car, I believe, with that. So a car that doesn't have any tuning, it just has basically some fusions on it, some green ones at that. That's pretty fast. Let's go on and jump into race number 2. And this one's going to be against a tier 4, the AMG GT. And it shows up at 589 and plus 194. Load it. Alrighty. Oh, got a good one. So now I need to go ahead and push that. Probably 2 seconds when it hits. I'm going to go ahead and release the starter on there. Launching, attempting to get a perfect start out of this. So I can get a couple extra dollars out of this. Since this is these one-off cup races, you don't get a lot of money out of it, so you don't get full value for shifting for perfect shifts, as well as with the perfect starts. But I'm a very cheap and frugal person, so every little nickel and dime I can get out of it, I like to get out of it. And next up here is going to be the Tier 5 2016 R8 V10 Plus Coupe, 608 plus 85. Let's see, 3, 2, 1, nope, 2 is still there. So I guess as soon as it gets past 2, it's going to be the perfect launch to be able to get that perfect start. I will, after doing this one, I'm going to hit the knobs and see what time I can get. So I always think it's pretty cool to see how fast you can go with your cars. Even though you can win without having to actually utilize the knobs, I always think it's pretty cool. Also, for anybody who's curious with the points, I actually have a 2-hour wild card going, someone fired on off. So that's why I'm getting more points than normal on this race. So this showed up as a purple star Chiron. And let's go ahead and do a little bit less than 2. Nope, wheel spin start. Fired to nod, second and the third. Let's see what type of time do we get out of it. Alright. And 6,000 cash, and I ran 11-1. So it's not too bad. Ah, okay. Just got a message from the leader of my crew. I posed a question in the crew who did what, and my leader had responded back to me. I was in the middle of doing some live races when the wild card was fired, since we're at the end of the season. So I was curious who fired it on off, so now I know. Is there an open space in your crew? I'm here. No, we're currently 30 of 30, but if you send a request, we tentatively are going to have 1 or 2 spots open at the end of the season. So you can go ahead and try to jump on. We have a little bit less than perfect start. Right now we have a little bit less than, a little bit more than a day left of the season. So you might be able to get an opportunity to come on in. So just send a request. My crew is Midnight, MIDNIGHT, in a space, and then Kings, KINGZ. So Kings with a Z is my crew name. I don't think that shows up anywhere inside of this screen for you to be able to see it. But let's take a look on the driving in screen if it actually shows my crew name. I think that it does, but I'm not for sure. Let's take a quick look. Oh, there it is. It actually does show it on this screen. So Gavin is riding a white GTA Spana at 630. And that car is what I'm going to race against. I'm clearly going to beat it because I'm running at a 714 or 711. And it's running at a 630, so I'm going to be able to win without a problem. And also, one of the cool things is it actually shows me the status of what the race is tentatively looking like on the next race button that I'm hitting. And that race is going to be right there at the bottom. It says next race. It has blue. So 7 to 30. So the next race will be my 7th race, and I have a total of 30 in that grouping. And got an uncommon engine. So it doesn't seem like it's giving a lot of parts on this Golden Cup. Since the last time I got fusion parts, it was 1 uncommon, and now it's giving me another uncommon. Yep, Midnight Kings. Alright, you got the crew name correct, so if anybody wants to go ahead and send a request in to join, if we show up as less than 30 members, hey, you might have an opportunity, but we typically don't remove members until after the season is ended, just because everybody deserves to be able to get a car that's in our crew. So even though you may not work out with staying with the crew, you still deserve to get the car. So towards the end of the season, we let crew members know, hey, you know, everybody that doesn't have 500,000 points, you need to pick up to get 500,000 if you want to stay in the crew. In this particular season, we have a few members that do not have the 500,000, and you know they're working on picking it up now. One of them fired off the wild card, and you know they're trying to get those points in. Even though it's the holidays, you know we still like everybody to work together as a crew in order to be successful. All right, and now we're gonna race up against a LaFerrari at 635 and plus 268. And let's see if I can get a perfect start on this. 3, 2, 1. Nope, another good start. This car is very difficult to time. Maybe once I actually tune it, maybe when I tune the transmission, it'll get a little bit easier to be able to time with the start. But Porsches have always been a little bit different with their starting mechanism versus other cars. They tend to have those long rollbacks on there. But as you take a look at the points that shows up here on the screen, I'm currently getting 202 points out of respect points. I'm getting plus 37 for the crew bonus, and a wild card gives me 129. We currently have a 70% wild card running. If you look up there to the top right where it shows my rank of 501, and right now it's going to flick on around and show you 112. So it's going to be 70 plus the 42 that this has, which gives me 112 RP. Winning percentage out of it. So for anybody that's ever curious how it worked out, that's how it works. The points to me mathematically don't really equate out to being a 30% bonus or a 70% bonus or a 150% bonus. For white, CSR Regera, not bad looking. Be kind of cool if we can actually get that car in the game with that coloring. Still another wheel spin start. I'm going to do the early shift on there to try to get a little bit more time out of it. See if I can get below 11 seconds. Nope, 11.1. I'm going to now try a couple different shifting patterns to see if I can get below 11 seconds. So 11, below 11.00 is to go. Alright, reward is earned. Another uncommon fusion part. This time it looks like we get more than one. We earned 2. Okay. So next up, we're going to go ahead and have 10. And there go another 911R, white with red stripes on it. Pretty fancy looking. I do like the green one that they have. I seen the green one once in a race that I was doing against one, and that green looked wicked. And I was like, man, that's pretty nice. But alas, I haven't been able to pull the car. I pulled another Porsche, I think it was the 911 GT3, and I pulled in the same color that I had already. I pulled it in chalk, and it's sitting in my garage, so I haven't gotten around to stripping it yet. I was just a little agitated. It's like, you know, why can't I get the car, you know, in a different color? That adds awesomeness to it. So I need more fuel, so let's go ahead and buy some more fuel. And next race up, it showed 12 or 30. This is really race number 11, not race number 12. That's one of the little bugs in the next race that I found. Pretty cool. That's one of the little bugs. It shows you when you buy fuel, not the next race, but the race after that. So let's go ahead and try to get that perfect start again. Oh, good. And let's go ahead. No, I'm probably not going to get below 11 seconds. Too many perfect shifts along that way, and also I didn't get a perfect start. Sometimes a lot of these cars you have to get good shifting on them in order to get the faster times. So if you look now, it shows me race 12:30 again. The last time it showed me 12:30, that was actually race 11. Now it's actually 12:30, so now it's going to be race number 12 out of it. Alright, and then this is the white GTR that we're racing up against. 626, but plus 726. That means we're going to run a little bit faster. But let's get that perfect start. No, wheel spin start. More of those perfect shifts, so basically it means this time it's going to run 11.2, maybe 11.3. Nope, I ran 11.1 that time. Alright, any other questions from anybody out there watching? Got a couple of viewers that are currently watching it now, so want to make sure that we're interacting with everybody. More uncommon fusion parts though. It's always a bad sign when you get just a whole bunch of uncommon parts. But it's always cool when you don't have those parts and you're getting them. So this looks like there's 4 uncommon that shows up in the prize wheel here. So if you don't have those uncommon parts, picking up those parts is definitely a bonus. I believe all my Porsches actually have uncommons on them. Here go another purple star Chiron. The Chiron was actually made available as a purple star, but it was only made available to the top 10 crews at the time. That was back in the old formation of teams how they used to have it, when we didn't get a whole lot of points. And it was the top 10 crews got a purple star car, and then the top 50 from crew number 11 to 25 actually received a car, and nobody else got cars out of it. So they made a lot of changes with the game about a year ago, and one of those changes actually benefited us, and a lot of games just glitched out on us. It froze in the middle of the shift and in the middle of the race. But fortunately, we're able to not worry about it because the game continued on and it worked. Just have to make sure you pay attention to those shifting patterns so that way you don't have too many problems. Right now my crew is actually, I believe, in the 1400s. I got a bunch of points to collect. Once you get out of the thousands right now in the crew rankings, the point differential is not that huge. And you can kind of get an idea of that by looking at the top 10 crews in the world and seeing where you rank at. And that's a white 911 GT3. Let's see what this race is. Alright, got a good start. Fired that mouse on second. I'm going to try to do it on third next time. See if I can get it to be a little faster. But when you start looking at the crew rankings, you actually start to realize that there's a lot of points that's being accumulated by crews, but there's a wide difference between the number 1 crew in the world and the number 10 crew in the world. Just an example. So there's a lot of points that's being created and distributed. Once I get done with this tank of gas, I'll actually go ahead and take a look at the current crew ranking, so you can say. Once I come out of the game, I can go take a look and see if I have a request, and I'll pull that up once I get done with this tank of gas. It's going to be a couple races. Good start. Alright, fired the knives between second and third instead of first and second. Let's see if we can get that sub 11 second time. Nope, a little bit slower, 11.2. Let's see what I earned as a prize. Alright, just earned 10 tokens. Alright, I did not put that do not disturb on, so I will get notifications from certain things popping up. Alright, so that time I got a perfect start. Let's see if I can get that sub 11 seconds out of the car. Once again, this car has no tuning done on it. It just has fusions and it has stage 6 upgrades. Let's see here. So once I get to race 20 roughly, I'll be out of fuel, and we'll take a quick break from the races and jump into the crew to take a look and see where the global rankings is, just so I can give you guys a visual of actually how it works. Here go another white LaFerrari once again. Nice looking little car. Member of my crew, they actually have the LaFerrari, but theirs is in black. Alright, fired their knives differently. Let's see if we can go ahead and get some actual better timing out of there. And yep, I got an 11.0 second out of it that time. Not bad. Not bad at all. Nope, it's 11.105. Close to 11.0, but not close enough. Alright, picked up 50 gold coins. Now I got 2 more races to do, and then I'll jump out of there. What's going on, Miguel? Hey, what's going on, Velocity? Welcome aboard. The white Regera is back up again. Nice. And it's a purple star. Purple stars are often cool because they get extra fusion attached to them. They go a little bit faster, and the fastest cars typically are purple star cars. When you're dealing with a tier 5 car, they're going to come in 5 stars, and they're going to be purple when they're purple. And you're going to get 135 fusions on that car. Normally, tier 5 cars come with 96 if it has no stars, 110 stars if it has 3 stars, and if it's a 4 star or 5 stars, 128. But when you get the purple star variation of it, you get additional fusions on it, as well as additional RP points out of it, because it's a purple star. So for the tier 5, you go from 128 to 135. Alright, the white Hurricane Performante doesn't look as cold as the blue one is. The baby blue one that they have looks real nice. The white one's not bad. Kind of like that snow white or that powder white. It starts off fast, but it slows down quick. And 11-1 again. Are you asking my personal garage value, or are you asking my crew garage value? Mr. Anonymous Gang, that question's for you. A white 911R. I still like the green better. The white one's okay, but I like the green better. Of course, I've gone and tear away from it because my car is better than this. My personal garage value right now, I believe, is at $224 million. I do have a few extra cars in my garage due to me not getting around to stripping them yet. I have, I think, 5 or 6 tier 5 cars in there. Once I strip those cars out, then my garage value will take a dip because of that. I don't get caught up with garage value because a lot of people don't actually strip out their duplicate cars. So, you know, ooh, that McLaren P1 GTR looks kind of wicked in white with all the extra little body design on it. I like the black one, but that white one is actually not bad at all. Pretty snazzy. I'm gonna rip it to shreds on the roadway. Takes off because that car has a very quick start, but it runs out of the highway. You know, if this was a quarter mile, it would have won the race easy, but since this is a half mile, that super fast start has nothing to add at all. It's not about how quickly you start or how quickly or how fast you end. It's about how quickly you complete the race. And that's one thing I tell people all the time. You know, they look at the speed of these cars, be like, oh, I did 300 miles an hour, or I did 400 kilometers. I'm like, but how quickly did you get down to the line? That's all that matters. I made it 11.1, he made it 11.9. I finished at 246, he finished at 189. He got down to 0 to 60 in 1.0, I took 1.5. He got down to 0 to 100 in 2.0, it took me 2.5. But I finished the race first. So that's where it really matters. So let's go ahead and get out. We're gonna go back to the garage now. I strip all of my cars. I don't need any cars in my garage that are duplicates because I'm not racing more than one car at a time. So for me, if it's a duplicate, it's gotta go. My current garage value is $229 million for my personal cars. Like I said, this car is 41 of 42 and 40 of 128 upgrades. It has a personal value of $2.776 million. As I said before, I don't have any reds on here or any blues on here. The only fuses I have are all green. So if it's green, it's been filled in. If it's any other color, it's been left off. So if you get this car, it's going to take 40 green uncommons fusions to be able to load this up. And after that, it's going to be blue. Oh, no, actually, I guess I ran out of blue. No, I guess I got tired of putting money into the car. Let's add the rest of these blues on here. So it takes more than 40. We'll see what that totals out to be. Alright. Huh. I have a whole bunch of blue greens that I can put onto the car. Well, I'll be the son of a nephew's uncle. Now I have all my uncommons loaded up onto the car. So now we can say that the car has all uncommons loaded up onto it. This one is pretty interesting because I guess I have no blue fusions for the Porsche. Nope, none in my inventory. So this is the only one that doesn't have any fusions that's on it. But let's take a look and see if the request came in since you had asked about it. So when you're managing a crew, you get the opportunity to be able to go to manage and see request. So at the top request is going to be request from crews that have requested me to join. The bottom is going to be player requests from players who requested to join my crew. So right now, you do show up in there with your request. You show up as a rank 311. You have 0 donations that shows up and 0 RP. I don't know why it shows 0 RP for you, because normally it populates with RP that you've accumulated throughout the game at different stages. The donations I expect it to be 0 unless you actually donated to your crew. I don't know your current status, so I can't say why you don't have 0 donations there. But yep, you show up there with your request for 311 rank. Alrighty, take a look if you got a request. I do. How come you don't put any other fusion parts other than the greens? Greens, we get a ton of greens in the game, the uncommon. So because we get those, I put those on cars. They're cheap to strip off it. That's what I have to do. Rares, you get a little bit more rares than you get of greens. So, and they cost a little bit more money to take off if you need to, and it costs a little bit more money to put on if you're going to put it on. When you get to the epics, those are very rare to get. So for example, if you get 10 fusions for a car, roughly 7 of those fusions will be uncommon, 2 of those fusions are going to be rare, and 1 of those fusions is going to be epic. So when you look at that, out of every 10, you're only getting a few of those rares, and the number actually may be smaller than that. So I don't boat the rare or the epics on cars unless I'm actually planning on driving them and I actually need to have them on cars. That's just my personal choice. That's how I try to maximize my dollars, and I try to maximize my gold coins that I have. So right now my crew is currently ranked 1,429 in the world. We're sitting at 22,536,000. But if you look at number 10 in the world, most wanted, they're sitting at 82 million RP. But then when you scroll up to look at number 1, they're sitting at 138 million. So between number 10 at 82 and number 1 at 138 million, you're talking about a 56 million RP difference. That's basically 2 crews that can get the milestone 1 plus another crew that can be halfway to it. That's the difference between number 1 in the world and number 10. And as you get out of the top 50 crews roughly, the points drop off even more. Because ultimately at the end of the day, when you look at the prizes, you know, your true prizes are your top 3 crews. Everybody else gets common prizes. You know, if you make it from 4th to 10th place, you get 10 gold keys, you get 75 silver. So I look at that as a racer. I get 2 cars and half of a pull for another car. And if it's going to be the silver one, I consider that to be a tier 1 to tier 3 car more than likely, because you get those easier in the game. Or it's going to be a car that you already have, because getting the 1 star for tier 1 and 2, getting a 2 star for tier 3, and getting a 3 star for tier 4 and tier 5 is super easy in the game to get. And same thing with the gold keys. You can now pull a tier 2 car with that gold when it's more likely to get those easier to get cars, because you're going to get a tier 3 or a tier 4 that's 3 star more likely than you're going to get something of value like the Regera or the LaFerrari. So when I look at these prizes, that's a lot of points that these racers are putting up, and the prizes just isn't worth it. So when you look at that one, when you look at, you know, 11th through 25th, you get 5 gold keys, so half of a gold crate pull, you get 500 bronze. If you pull enough bronze, you're going to get cars out of it. Are those cars going to be worthy of anything? You know, you can get a 5-star car from the bronze, as well as 4 stars and 3 stars and 2 stars, but you're more likely to get a tier 1, a tier 2, or a tier 3 than you are to get the more rare cars that you can get in the game. So I look at the work that goes into getting these maximum points and, you know, getting those higher rankings. You don't get a whole lot back in return from it. You know, pulling 3 million, 5 million every single season and only getting, you know, minimum prizes, to me isn't worth it. Now, if I was up there in one of those crews that was way up there at the top, you know, with a Thanks Princess or a Dreamville or a Masters Land or an Elite Outlaws, sure, I would want to be fighting, because that's where you can get a real differential of a prize. But if I was sitting down here at From the Shadows, Omega, World Power, or Slipstream, I wouldn't be pushing trying to get any more out of the crew, because the prizes aren't that great of a difference. That's just my own personal opinion as a racer, as an avid, player in the game, and I like to have fun with it. I personally wouldn't want to look at, investing all that additional hard time and energy and money in there. So let's go ahead and jump back into the Golden Cup and do a couple more races in there and knock that on out. Yeah, the crew garage value is never going to be what you can actually see. That's a limitation of the game. And the garage value is always going to show 0. And that's how the game is set up. As you can see, my car is worth $2 million, just this one car. So how can my crew garage value be $0? That's been a bug that's been in there for probably 6 months or longer. It's not a high priority resolution. How I typically can look at the garage value is to click on the manage button, click on the leave, and then it shows you garage value, and it shows here 606,964,719. That's the closest thing that I can see to the garage value for my crew. I assume that that's the crew's garage value because we have no other way of being able to validate anything. It shows the earnings as negative 773,116,952. We have no way of confirming that that's actually what the earnings is, because when we look at the members, it never shows us what the earnings of anybody is. So we have no way of adding up a value. So the best information we have is that this is all what the computer has generated for all of us as racers. Now, one thing you can see here for perks, my crew has unlocked all of the perks, so we have a 25% bonus. You can see that up here on the top. It shows crew bonus is 20%. I have 11 more minutes of the wild card that's left for the 2 hour. And then if you look at perks here, my crew is ranked 20, and it met that rank because we're currently ranked 25, and we get plus 20 members. So the crew starts out with 10 members, and once you move up on members, you get plus members added to it. So as you can tell here, you start out with the first one. There's 4 options to be able to meet. The first one you get 4 crew members. The second one you get 5 crew members, and you get 5 more with each one that you get. So as you get the ranking up, you get those final members. Same thing with career earnings. Once your crew has reached so much of earnings, then you get the additional bonuses. That meets up at a plus 5% RP bonus. Then it goes up to a plus 10%, a plus 15%, then a plus 20%. Once you get to meet those different milestones that they actually do. With the races, you got to win a number of races. 10,000, you get a plus 5% in race bonus. So first you get a plus 1%, then 2%, then 3%, then 5% as you meet each one of those requirements. Race fresh, you got to race so many races in order to get the RP bonus out of that. And I wonder why this keeps resetting on us. So first you get 2%, 3%, 4%, and then the full 5% as you complete those. And the last one is the fit fusion parts. Improve your chance of rare parts when stripping. So you can include those, but you got to meet certain thresholds. Since my crew has already completed them, I can't give you a demonstration of those being done. All right, let's see here. My crew is 227 million, and it says it's on the crew. It says it on the crew. I guess you mean in back here on the back screen. It says garage value has a $0. If your screen shows that, then that means that it's definitely a bug that not everybody's impacting. Several of the other admins and different crews that I talked to have all said that they've experienced the same problem too. And a couple of people have reported the issue to Natural Motion, and they said that they're working on it. And once again, that was many months ago that first occurred. No real clue why. It's just a bug. So now on race number 22, I go up to half mile and challenging. So that means that it's a little bit harder. So it's telling me I'm probably going to have to hit that NOS in order to win the race. But let's go ahead and try to tackle the race without the NOS and see what we do. Now we're going to go ahead and jump on in. Up, another GTR that's white. And it's 682 and plus 939. That 939 is pretty high. Can we smoke them? Good start. Good, perfect shift, perfect shift, perfect shift. There it goes. Yep, I'm probably going to have to hit the NOS. I would have hit the notch too late if I'd have hit it then, but I lost the race. Bummer. So yeah, if your crew shows the garage value in the background, then that's definitely a bug that they have in the game that doesn't impact all the crews. So this could potentially be why they haven't fixed it, because all the crews are not impacted by it. So it'd be considered a low priority issue. Yeah, the $0 always shows up for the crew. They don't show you any stats on the crew that you're looking for. It's always been that way. Just like with the RP, the money value. If I send you an invite, it's going to show that your money value for my crew is going to be the same as everybody else that has the same ranking. It's going to show you that my crew is ranked 5 and that the money value is 1 billion negative 1,337, and that's what it shows for everybody. They don't show you anything of the crew until you actually join the crew. So when all these racers are always in global talking about, oh, send me an invite, that's because they don't really understand that everybody looks the same. So this car ran significantly faster than I expected it to, so it zoomed on by me. So now I'm going to have to go tune the car, get a little bit better performance out of it. That time I ran an 11.068 and it ran a 10.7. Nothing I'm going to do to be able to beat that car in my current configuration. I might have to put some blue fusions on there. We'll see what we have to do, but let's tune it first and see if I can get below 10.7. So like I said, I'm just going to max EV it. Slide on over to the tire pressure, see what I need to do with that. Alright, I'm over into the 600s now. 618, 625. Let's deal with the final drive. Nope, I go down with that. Let's go ahead and scroll on up. See if I get back up to the 600s. Yep, I get into the 600s. But I start to lose a lot when I scroll over even further. And if I scroll over here, I lose a lot too. So let's go ahead and get back to the 650s. We was at 654 when I last seen. So I went too far with that. And 648, 658. Alright, almost there to the 658 again, 657, 656. Alright, 329, 328, 658. Now let's go ahead and adjust the NOS. And let's see what we get out of there. Just minimum. I'm not going to get much out of the NOS, especially with the short time. But let's take it for a spin real quick. I had 658 before, so let's get back to that. 660, okay. I need a longer NOS. So let's go ahead and take it for a quick spin and see if I can get below that 10.7 mark. And if I do get below the 10.7, then I'm going to go ahead and race that until I need to adjust it again, and I'll put some fusions on it. Alrighty, and let's see here. Take it for a free test spin. Normally what I don't do, I normally take it into a regulation race to test it out. And it's still faster, it's slower, so I'm going to have to drop some fusions on it because it's running a 10.8 and that's not fast enough. Probably going to have to get it down to maybe the 10-second range. So we're going to drop some fusions on this puppy and see what we can do. Start out with the body. Whenever I upgrade cars and put fusions on it, I always start at the lowest one and put fusions on it. I'm out of fusions for the blue, for the Porsches. Interesting. Alright. So we'll drop another one on here. Yep, that's a red one, so we're going to be done with that. And let's go ahead and drop, nope, went to red on that, so we're going to be done. And drop the blue on there. Oh, put a blue on there before already, let's see. Alright. No clue how I got a blue on there. It's not like me to drop anything like that on the car. And let's go ahead and drop a blue one here. Let's see what we can do now. So now my settings went up to 709 with it. And as you can see, when you put the blues, they're 9,500. I think it's $6,000 for greens to put onto a car, and so it's always cheaper to put those lower end parts on there. Let's see, back to tires. I'm not going to gain much, if anything at all. No, I went up to a 710. I'll take that. 710 is 710. Let's go ahead and adjust the final drive. So 3.28 is where I was at. And let's see what the notch, if I get anything out of it. 715. Nope, wrong direction. I gotta go back to 715. Alright. So let's go try to tackle this bad boy and see what we can do. Alright. So this is one of my lower end cars. It still shows up as green. I may have to drop more fusions on it, which means spend more money. Let's see what we have to do. Alright, so we're dealing with the white one again with the 939. My 715 is closer to it, so let's see if we can make up a big difference there. 3, 2, 1, perfect start. I may be hitting NOS at the wrong gear, not for sure. There it goes, coming on up, pass me on up. Alright, so let's try to NOS at a different gear. Go ahead and try to restart. And we're going to fire NOS not in second gear but in third gear. Because different cars have different NOS points to be able to get more efficiency out of the car. And got a little closer, so I got to hit the NOS a little bit later in the game. Yep, so I'm going to fire the NOS later. I'm getting closer to it, but I'm still not beating that 10.717. Alright, I hit it over in the fourth now. And here he goes, passing me on up, pass up. Nope, how I drive, I'm going to definitely have to... Let's try it one more time. I went a little bit slower that time. So we're going to do it in the third, fourth gear again. And try to get away from those early shifts. And see if I can get down to that 720. Jeez. Is that 720? 730. Yep. Got to go to the garage. Got to fit more parts on there. Oh, so close. The agony of defeat. Oops, it crashed. Give me 1 second there. The game crashed on me. So I gotta go ahead and fix that. Definitely, hold on a second. Stand by, please. Stand by. Didn't mean for that to happen. Alright, the game's coming back up. Screen mirror is enabled. And there we go, back into the game. Apologize for that, everybody. Guess the car didn't like that I didn't have fusions on it, so it caused the game to crash. My bad. We don't have any parts for that, so let's go ahead and drop some over here. Do I have any more blues? Yep, I got some blues for that. 9,500. And another one, 9,500 there. And let's see. Got only one for that. here. And let's go ahead and add. More than likely, I'm going to have to definitely add all of these because these races definitely are a lot faster than what I had the car upgraded at. There we go with the Fate of the Furious again. So now we went from the 40s all the way up to 59 with the fusions, and now we're going to have to go ahead and tune it. So let's see what we can do. 750, 757. Let's adjust the tires first. Do I need to go down? 763. Let's deal with the final drive some. Alright. Alright, so that stays roughly the same. Let's go ahead and adjust the NOS. We gained a little bit of performance out of the NOS. And let's see what we can do. I should be able to win this time. I've added a lot more fuses onto the car. So let's see what happens. The scourge of the game. The Fate of the Furious notice. Still green. I hadn't even made it to winning the gold keys yet. I've been stuck on race 22 for a minute. That was the last thing I was expecting with doing this. Alright. So the race is up. Still that AMG GTR. Do I have to put epic fusions on the car? Is that what I'm going to have to do? Say it ain't so. The real question is, do I have to turn around and strip off some fusion parts off of my other Porsches? That's going to be very scary. And there it goes again. I lost again. I just don't know how to drive this car. It has to be that. Alright. Let's see here. Keep losing the race. Wow. Didn't expect that to occur, especially after I dropped more fusions on the car. But this car is definitely quick at the end. Finally won. Congratulations me. But that means the next races are probably going to be even harder. I ran a 10.597 to that 10.717. And this is $100,000. Woohoo. The next race shows up as green, and I'm quite sure it's going to be faster. Let's see what it shows up as this time. And I definitely wasn't expecting to be losing those races like I did. But hey, it happens. It happens to the best of us. It happens to the worst of us. The white Chiron red, the purple stars. Alright, let's see how fast this one runs. It seems like it's holding back there in the wings, so it looks like I got that one pretty easily. The Chirons are a little bit slow. At least with my Chiron, I have just the Chiron red to go on. But I noticed that the cars, they can get up pretty quickly. They can keep up with a lot of these Porsches because they have fast takeoffs. But their top speed is not super high. It's decent. So the Porsches have typically a moderate top end speed, but they can get down the lane pretty quickly. They just don't have a lot of get up and go to finish it. So this 911 GT3 shows up at 705 and plus 4. This is going to be another challenging race probably. We're going to go side by side for a little bit of the race, I'm assuming. Nope, he took off on me. I have to try to chase him down and catch him. And that's what I'm slowly doing. Do I have enough track? And I have enough track. Once we have free racing spaces available, I have no problem with accepting you into the crew. Right now, I got my 50 silver keys, but the next race shows up is hard. That's scary, being that I've been barely able to win these last two races. The race before that, the last two wasn't too bad, but the race before that took me a lot to race and upgrade. So let's see what this one shows up as. But yeah, I don't think we'll have a problem with getting you into the crew. Any particular reason that you don't currently have a crew that you're a member of? Are you just currently taking your break and looking for a new crew, or are you looking to produce less? You're looking to produce more? Because a lot of racers that are over 200 are typically not out there in the market for looking for new crews. So that's why I decided to ask you that question. Let's see now. Wheel spin start, fire off the MISC on third gear, pipe it off in the fourth. And this car is catching up to me. Will it pass? Nope, it didn't pass me. I won. It was a hard race, and I was able to successfully win. Barely though, 0.003. So that's 3/thousandths of a second that I was able to win by. I've actually driven faster than the time that it showed up there. So if I had driven it faster, it would have been a much better racing there. But, you know, I was able to get the W, and that's what, you know, ultimately is the best part of it. So race number 26, I believe this is for the first set of gold keys. So this should be 3 gold keys, I believe. Let's see if I can win this one on hard. If not, I'm going to have to drop some more fusion parts onto it and be able to win my gold keys, because I want to get my 10 free golden keys. You left my crew because you left your crew because you wanted to join my crew. Okay. I never advise anybody to leave crews unless they're ready to leave their crew. Because there's a lot of people, this is global conversation. This isn't, you know, interaction of me or anything like that. But a lot of people leave the current crew that they're in going for another crew, and that crew doesn't have any space, so then they're without a crew. So I often tell people, don't leave crews unless you actually want to leave the crew, because the next crew you try to go to may not have space for you to go into, especially if they send you an invite, or they may kick you out because, you know, they decide to let one of their friends or their buddies in. Because I see crews in global all the time talking about, oh, I'm looking for members, and to me, you shouldn't be looking for members every single season all the time. I get it, things happen, but every season you shouldn't be looking for members. So the only thing I have left to put onto the MISC is my epic fusions, and I don't want to drop any of those onto the car just yet. But I might have to actually strip parts off of one of my other Porsches to add onto this car. And if that's the case, that's what I'll do, just because stripping with the gold is not that big of a deal for me because I happen to have a lot of gold. But if I didn't have a lot of gold, it would be a big deal. So I'm a little bit faster now, got to do a little bit of tuning. And let's see here. Yeah, it may not have been your crew that you was an owner in, but it was your crew that you was a member in. Let's see, Nas goes up a little bit. Okay, I can use that. 778. It's gonna be enough to give me my gold keys at least. Let's check the tires. Did we go up? Did we go up? Did we go up? Nope, that's all garbage. 3, 2, 1. So we got just a very minor bump. Let's see if that's enough to get those 3 silver, the 3 golden keys, the 3 gold keys. Still orange. Hopefully that stage 6 gives me my last stage 6 part that I need for the car, and then I'll have it at 42 upgrades. And I just have to decide if I want to put any more fusions onto it. Alrighty, let's see here. Alrighty, better shifting patterns. I have none of those overly precise perfects, and it looks like woo, yeah, knock it out the park. Give me my 3 gold keys. Give me my 3 gold keys. I ran that 10.54. Alright, so if I want to make this easy, I'm definitely going to have to drop some fusions onto the car. I personally don't want to drop any fusions on the car, so that's not what I'm going to be doing. We're just going to try to tackle it, and I will be dropping more fusions on the car. I just have to decide that I want to do it, which I haven't decided yet. The cheapest way to put more fusions on the car would be going to my 718 Boxster S, because that's a tier 2 car, so to take parts off of it is cheap. The problem with taking it from the Boxster is that it doesn't have a lot of fusion parts on it for me to be able to take off that I can actually use, because all the uncommon slots is filled up on the car already, and tier 2 cars have more uncommons than anything else on them, just like tier 1. So that's not really an option, so I have to think about which one of my other cars I want to take that's a Porsche and take parts off of it. I'm probably going to take it off of Dana's car, because I've been putting fusions on it for a while, building that car up, because it's a purple star. And let's see if I can, nope. That LaFerrari just went on and cut down the highway and just left me in this dust. I kinda had a chance if maybe there was another quarter mile, but I don't think I would have had a chance. They ran a 10.50 and I ran a 10.58. So I'm gonna have to take some parts off. I'm gonna have to get this puppy down probably to 10.0. So let's decide which car we're gonna take parts from. So I don't have any parts on that car. Let's see. This is my chalk. Yep, don't have any parts. Actually, I do have a Porsche that I can strip, that I've just been waiting to strip because I haven't gotten around to it. And it's a 911 GT3, the extra one that I received that was in chalk. Just dropped 100 grand on it. I received 100 grand for those races, so let's see what parts we get. Let's get some blue parts, or let's get some epics. Spend $100,000, are you sure? Yes. All right. Got an uncommon turbo, uncommon transmission, uncommon body, uncommon engine, a rare intake, a rare tire, a rare intake, a rare nitrous, epic body, epic turbo, tires for the 911. Not able to really use much of that. Let's see what we get. A little bit further over. Nothing shows up on that car. Let's see. So the 911 GT3 actually has tires on it already. So I didn't get any stage 6 that I can use. Nope. So the knives just need to put some reds on there. But I got an intake. 2 intakes. I'll take the 2 intakes. Intakes definitely help out. No turbos, no engines. Alright. So, I'm not going to strip from the 918 because I have that maxed out. If anybody was ever curious on a tier 5 4-star or 5-star car that's fully maxed out, this is what it costs to strip. So this has 128 fusions. It has 42 upgrades on it. When you want to strip it, it's going to cost you 18,590 gold coins to strip. And that's crazy. But hey, that's the cost of doing business, right? Did I put any fusions on the 911 Turbo? If not, it's going to be Dana's car. I got 47 on here. Let's see if there's any blues I can strip off. Oh, I got blues. Okay. I got a lot of reds in front of it. So I don't need bodies, I believe. Nitros, I know I don't need. Intakes, I think I can use an intake. Let's go ahead and take one off. It's only 50 gold coins, I'll just take one. If I need to come back and get more, I'll get more. Transmission. Well, this car is definitely a hodgepodge of parts. I don't know why I put all those random parts on there. Alright, your message was retracted, huh? Not in this game? Made you change your mind. And there's one thing I do dislike. Instead of showing you the lowest fusions that you have available to put onto a car, they only show you the highest fusions that you have available to put on a car. And I've never been a fan of that. I like when they made the change where it was the lowest. Because if I had green uncommons or blue rares to put on a car, I would never know that I can put them on the car because it always shows the epics in the reds. So this car has other parts I can put on, but the only thing it shows me is the epics. And if there's only one epic, it still just shows you that one epic. And that's always been a pain for me because I like to put all my uncommons on cars, and I can't really do that efficiently if I don't know that I have uncommons available. So if anybody at Natural Motion gets wind of this or gets an opinion based on that, please go ahead and make it the lowest one again. The lowest is awesome because, as I said, you know, it allows us to put more of our fusions onto a car that we have instead of being worried about the things that we don't have. You know, I understand you want us to bolt on those epics and things like that, but I prefer to save the epics for the better cars because we don't get very many better cars. You know, some people brag about getting, oh, I got 2 LaFerraris or 3 Regeras. I don't have that ability to do that. Why don't I upgrade my C10? Actually, I have a very good answer for that. Give me 1 second. Can't get it back to my 807 that I had. Where's my 807? I need my 807. Where was it at? 807, there we go. 808, I'll take that. Can't wait for the 808 to kick. Little music reference there for anybody if they're into the music industry. So you asked me, why have I not upgraded my C10 since you've seen it in my garage? And you see my C10 is at a 602, and you assume that it's not upgraded, correct? Well, that's a little mystery to you because my C10 has been upgraded to 36 out of 42 upgrades. So, has my C10 been upgraded? Yes, it has been upgraded. I just have it sitting at stock on parts on the upgrade, so that way anybody who would happen to look at it wouldn't realize it because I put my different cars up in my garage. So by default, everybody would think that, oh, you don't have any parts on it, and I do. Now, one thing I do want to do is actually use my free upgrades from the Holiday Cup. I never actually got around to using it, so I got free upgrades for stage 5. I'm going to be dropping those on. I haven't used them yet, so, you know, it's a lot of tricky things that you can do with your garage, so that way you can keep people questioning things who might be snooping around. I like to throw them off. So yes, my Chevrolet C10 is upgraded. I just have it sitting at stock to make people think that it's not upgraded. I just don't have a lot of fusions on it. That's what I typically do. Don't drop a lot of fusions. I don't drive it, so it doesn't really matter. That LaFerrari sitting at 938 and I'm sitting at 808. Let's see if I can keep up with it. Last time I did a decent job of keeping up with it towards the end, but it already passed me up, just like it did there. And I had a small chance of beating it, but I didn't beat this time. But I got a lot closer to it, so I'm gonna try again. Let's try one more race. If this doesn't work, I'm gonna be taking off some parts and show you my method of trying to upgrade cars like this. Alright, so I see it there, lost it in the tail light, got a little closer but not close enough, lost again. Alright, so now we're gonna have the intent of getting this car upgraded. Ran the same time as well, so clearly I'm a bad driver and the car's not fast enough. So the first thing we're going to look at is going to be tires. So let's scroll on over to tires. Tires, I need blue. So how many blues do I need? I need 1, 2, 3. So I need at least 3 blues. So whenever I'm doing upgrades, I need to take parts off of cars. This is what I actually do. So we're going to go look over at the boss's car. Went too far. Dana's. So I need at least 3 blues for tires. And this is a slow way of upgrading. So Dana's car has 72 fusions. So I got a good amount of fusions on it. But not for longer. Alright, so why did it pop up and allow me to, there we go. Acting wonky. Alright, took off 2 blues. Next up, I'll slide back over to my car and I drop those blues onto the tires. Now I go to the next one. This way I'm not taking off more parts than what I need to take off of a car, because I've done that before, where you start taking off parts and then you take off too many, and next thing you know, you spend more gold than what you have to trying to remove parts off of cars. Oops, only took 2 off. Loyalty reward. Oh, I got the free car, so tires. Yay. Not going back in there. That was a mistake. So at this point in time, I'm just going to be done with tires. Let's take a look at body. Body, I need 1, 2, 3. So I need 3 bodies. And let's go to Dana's and take 3 blue bodies from it. Get a body from there. Body from there. I need 1 more body. My tires. I think I took all of them off. Alright, so body's just done. Let's go ahead and slide back over. What was I looking at? This one. I think I have bodies on this one. It's kind of baffling me. Any blue bodies? Nope, no blue bodies. Alright, so I was wrong. So we'll just stick to the original tactic. And I always upgrade from the bottom up. And the reason why I upgrade from the bottom up is that at the end of the day, when you upgrade from the bottom up, you balance the car as you upgrade it. Instead of upgrading from adding fusion from the bottom down, you upgrade from the bottom because you originally bolt on. So if I decide to downgrade this car, I could downgrade it to whichever upgrade has the most amount of fusion on it, so I can still get the benefit of those fusions. So for this one, we're just going to go ahead and drop our reds on there. And reds are pretty expensive to add on. See, 28,000 to add on. Now if I want to take this red off, it's going to cost me 150 gold. And let's see. So for intake, I have nothing but reds that are needed here. 1 blue, I'm not going to worry about it.
This knife has a straight edge on it.
Turbos.
Maybe.
I need 1 blue, 2 blues. So 2 blues on turbo. Just when I was building Dana's little car up. Oh well. We'll take this one away. We're going to take this one away. And intake, do I have a blue? I think it was a blue I needed. think it was just one that I needed. Can't remember. My mind is frazzled. I'm getting old. I'm not 20 years old no more. Yep. And drop that one blue over there. Gonna drop our blues here. And last blue will go there. Actually, we're getting close to 1,000. 900. Let's go with engine. 2 blues for engine. And let's go ahead and take the 2 blues for engine. Once I get to 900, I think I'll be good for that time being. Oh, I have no engines. Alright, let's go check out the other car and see if I have any engines that are there. I doubt I have any engines. Yep, no engines. Alright, that means that this car won't have any additional engine perks out of it. Let's see what else can we upgrade out of here. All we have left is transmission. This is going to be scary. Alright, so 1, 2 transmissions. And I know this is the boring part, not what I was expecting. Oh, that wasn't dangerous. It was orange as well, but it wasn't dangerous. So I need 2 blues. Got 1 blue there. Got 1 blue there. Do I have any more? Okay, so I got a couple more blues I can take if I need them. If I get over 300, I'm not going to worry about it. I mean, 900, I'm not going to worry about it. Let's see. Don't think I'm gonna get over 900. Maybe if I tune it, I'll get to 900 since I'm at 882. All right, any other questions for you watchers out there? And start with the tires. No change is gonna be there. Nope. Transmission. A3. Thought it was 883 before. Hey, more boost. That's all I'm gonna get is 886 out of it. 887. I'll take the 887. Let's roll the dice. Yep, live races get old real quick. I'll show you what my ice charger and what the Hobbs Demon looks like in live races, just so you can get a chance to see what that looks like. And so many people likes to swap. I get it. Swapping is cool. Swapping is just not for me. Alright, so let's go ahead and try to race this out. That was a slow start. And there was a pass. No, it doesn't pass. Up, I did it. Awesome sauce. Alright, so I got down to a 10-3. That may be enough to win the race. I'm not for sure. The first 3 Golden Cups that we had, my cars are basically pretty much maxed out already. So I basically just raced every race to win. And this is the first time I had the challenge of having to actually put parts onto the car. This is one of the reasons why I upgrade all my cars to stage 5, because whenever I do need to use them, such as this new added perk of Golden Cup, my cars are ready to go. I don't have to worry about waiting for upgrades to show up. The Regera, now 706992, I'm probably not going to beat this one. And let's go ahead and try to beat it. And one thing they did change with the Regera was the Regera used to actually be super slow to start, and then it had this whirlwind finish, and it just come flying by you at the end. Now it has more of a steady pace that it drives along the racetrack up against you. So it's actually kind of more fun to race against, because you can't tell if it's going to beat you or not. But with the Regera, transmission, I don't know if I have that already or not. I forgot the part that I'm missing. But the Regera, you never really knew if you was winning or not until basically the end of the race, when it came flying by you at the last 1.5 second of the race. But now you can kind of look at it, it's more of a fearsome challenge because you don't know if it's going to have that last get up and go on you. So I actually enjoy that with it. You know, that's just my own personal touch and taste with it. But Vermont is going to beat me. I already knew that. That was a close race. Let's see, did it run a 10.4 or was it a 10.3? No, I ran a 10.4. Okay, let's try to race that again. I can get a shot at winning that. You have both cars. You have the Regera and the LaFerrari. Because LaFerrari used to be the fastest car in the game, and the Regera was the second one. But now, other cars are coming to the game. Oh man, I messed up my start on that. But now there's a bunch of other cars that are well ahead of the car with the racing, the performance, and things like that. So I lost that race badly. Let's go ahead and try this again. I can do better than a 10.4. Let's see here. 3, 2, 1, go. Alright, and let's see, here it comes, it's right up there on my tail. Is it going to be able to pass me? Is it going to, oh, it didn't pass me. I won the race. That's awesome. I ran a 10.368. Oh, it ran a 10.368 as well. I won the race off of not a 100th of or a 1,000th of a second, but a 1,000,000th of a second, because that goes after the hundreds. You can't really see it. Either that or it's a tie goes to the winner type thing. Either or, I'm not for sure. Last race, 7 gold keys. I don't anticipate being able to win this race. Just because it ran a 10.368 and that's how fast I ran, I'm anticipating I'm going to have to run a 10.2 in order to win this race. But it shows up with a 709 and a 971. I have a 711, 867. So let's see. Let's roll the dice. It took off on me. Can I catch it? I still see it. I just lost it. There it is. I'm catching it. I'm catching it. Nope, didn't catch it. Bummer. I lost. So this is a 10.254. So if I throw in a couple of those epic fusion parts that I have on the car, more than likely I'm going to be able to win this race. But I'm going to have to tune. I'm going to definitely have to be in the 900s in order to win this. Let's see if the stage 6 is what I had, or I think it was tires that I got. So no, I needed NOS. I don't have NOS. Isn't that a bummer? You get these stage 6 parts and they're often duplicates, things that you already have instead of things that you need. I've never been a fan of that. I've always been anti the complaining part about that. Look at all those epics that I have for the body. Now when I look at epics for the intake, 1. They're rigged against you. I've said it all along. Let's go ahead and drop a couple more epics on here. Let's try to make this an even faster race for me. Let's blow that 10.2 out the water if possible. Since it made me spend extra cash on the car. It made me spend gold on the car. show it that we're not here to play. Now let's go ahead and tune it. And start with the tires. I always start with tires. Confirm that nothing really changes when I actually lose value off of it. Wow. Oh, never tried that before. Now that's pretty cool. You can slide over from the bottom from one side to the other instead of sliding all the way up to the top. Nice little cool feature. So currently we're at 317. If we go up, we actually lose EV. And let's go ahead and go down to say 315. And heaven forbid, is stock actually going to be pretty high? $312. Alright, so we got 312, we got 932. Let's adjust our good friend the NOS. And got to get back to 932 now. Alright, so we've tuned it. Nope, I didn't know about swing because typically when I'm tuning my cars, I don't slide from the bottom. I swing around in the circle. So it's something that I never do. So last race, race number 30, 7 gold keys is on the line. Let's see if I can do it. Let's mark this hard for the half mile. This white Porsche 911R is going to show up. And my 932 against 971. So the major difference is that 711 going to make a difference between 709. Let's go ahead and race. Knock it out. Alright. There it goes, pulling off from me. Can I keep the tail lights? Nope, I lost the tail lights, but I didn't completely lose them. I'm pulling on ahead and I win. Oh, I lost. I lost. Look at that. Look at that. The end of the race showed me that I had won, but clearly I didn't win. That is no fun at all. I'm closer, but I'm not there. And that's a bummer. Let's see here. Try it again. And I lost him in the tail lights. I pull on ahead. Nope. He pulls just ahead a little bit at the end. So I'm going to try to fire the NOS a little bit later because that race is very close there. And actually that time I ran slower. Go figure. In my crew, we don't run wild cards that often. We run them most of the time off the cuff, and we run them at the end of the season. The wild cards are kind of a reward for a successful season that we were able to complete. So for us, we run wild cards at the end of the season, and we don't run them typically during the season. Successfully won, and got my 7 gold keys. But everybody in the crew pretty much makes enough points or more to be able to win the prize car without a dependency on wild cards because we all play at different times throughout the day. Our members are not necessarily scattered all across the globe, but we do have several members that are international compared to being in the United States. And the times where everybody's available to play is just completely different. So wild cards are not ran very often in our crew. New members always come in, oh, wild cards will help. And we run wild cards to show them that everybody's on at different times of the day, so wild cards is not as much of a benefit as other people would think. But in our crew, we don't get a huge benefit or a boost from running wild cards. So let's go take a look at the live lobbies for Hobbs Roadrunner. And I catch a lot of people often talk about, oh, I can't really find bots. I can't really find bots. Bots are nowhere to be around. I find bots all over. I find bots in pretty much a lot of lobbies. Some lobbies I do have more ability to get bots in than others. So I typically take certain cars into lobbies to get bots. But bots is real different. Huh. So now all of a sudden I have a whole bunch of different cars in this lobby. Oh yeah, this is the Hobbs Roadrunner. I catch a wide variety of people in the Roadrunner. But when I'm in the Ice Charger, it's pretty much Ice Charger and Roadrunner, and that's the only thing that really shows up in that lobby. When I'm in the Roadrunner, I guess I don't have it tuned right. I'm not exactly sure. But I do run into other people. But when I go in with the Ice Charger, yeah, good luck with finding anybody else. I sometimes run into the Romans Murcielago in the Roadrunner lobbies, but primarily my lobbies with the Ice Chargers, Ice Charger and Roadrunners. So looking here with the Ice Charger now. Ice Chargers all along the way. And as I said, the Ice Chargers and the Roadrunners in there. And it was just a bot in there that just disappeared. And this is what my lobbies look like. And as I said, most of these people in here, they're looking to swap. Josh swaps fast. Help Me iOS. Help Me iOS got 1.6 million RP. Razer has 1.8 million RP. But Help Me iOS, I'm gonna go look them up and see what their current ranking is. See if we can find them. I'm always curious when you catch people with 1+ million RP, what type of ranking that they have. I gotta put those little emoji up. There it is right there. He's ranked 744 with 800 million. So to give you guys an idea, like people that have swap in their name, rank 112. Rank 135. Kuwait swap rank 448. Let's do the 1 win, 1 loss. Here goes just a few. One of them is ranked 325 with 1,711,000,000 earnings. This person is ranked 253, but they only got 21 million. This person's ranked 262. This other person's ranked 105, and they got 271 million. This person here is with 1 million winnings, and they have a rank of 1,006. Now, some people do cheat their way to the top, but another reason that there can be a discrepancy in between the earnings is that some people actually bet a lot of money and they win a lot of money. So the rank 325, they could bet a lot of money, so of course they win a lot more money. If this person that's ranked 1,006 is only doing it by buying cars and stripping them, they're not going to win a lot of money. So they may have found a hack or a glitch in the game where they can give themselves unlimited cash, and they generate RP by just simply buying cars, stripping cars, and upgrading cars. This rank here, 473, they're ranked, 566 million. So sometimes it's easy to tell people that hack and people that cheat, but it's not always that easy to be able to tell people that hack and people that cheat. So now I got 1,939,000 RP. Once I go back in here and claim my 86,400 from the Crew Cup, that'll put me over 2 million for the season. So just like that, working pretty hard. Where am I at with the Supply Cup? I got a couple Supply Cup races to do. So one thing I noticed with RP differences, I have 2 cars here. I have the HS Customs Under Pressure, a Tier 5 car. I get 224 RP off of that car because it's Tier 5. The Tier 4 Z28, I get 226, and typically that's a rarity, not the norm, because it's also a 5-star car, but it's a Tier 4. So Tier 4 races actually gives you a lower amount of RP. Well, this car actually has the Elite license on it as well. So it asks the 5 stars for that, which gets you 15% of points. Plus it asks the 10% for being the elite license. So with that combination, the points actually gets up to be a little bit more than 224. And I'll go ahead and show you what that looks like. So this is why it's important when you choose your cars to choose wisely which cars you're going to actually use. And you use the same cars over and over to maximize your points. Hey, when you first started your live races, you was just like many other people out there. Oh, I'm gonna go faster. You don't know about the differences with the lobbies that you're in. Tuning was the key. It took me a while. My first 4 months or 5 months, I think I was stuck at 3 live race wins. And more than likely, I either won those races against people who was like me, who had no clue what they was doing, or they was feeling sympathetic for me and let me win, or they had a bad start. Either one of those scenarios, I'm not exactly sure why. But I lost probably 40 or 50 races. I gave up on live races. I was grinding out all my points doing regulations. I was the king of tier 5 pro regulation race because I was able to get the most amount of money and I was able to do it quickly and I was able to get that little bit of points off of it. So yeah, I used to knock those out all the time. So right now I got 797,000. Let's see where I'm at on the leaderboard, if I'm still up in that number 3 position. Yep, still number 3. I thought I might have to go up to 800,000. I'm not getting nowhere close to where Hammer Jockey is at 2,144,000. So I'm not even trying to get number 1 in my own personal lobby. So I can forget that, but I can definitely maintain my 35 silver keys that I have. So just to give you guys a different display, I'll jump over into HS Customs. You know, the one that is upgraded. Still have some fuse on there. Never even tuned the car. I'm going to purchase some fuel and I'll show you the difference with the tier 5. And any other questions anybody have? I have a couple viewers still that are viewing it. We're going to be wrapping this up soon because it's getting late. And I know I'm probably boring people now, especially since the Golden Cup is over. So any other questions before we wrap this up? I got less than 3 minutes and I'll go. So now we're going to get 224. If I actually win the race. I don't think I've ever actually driven this car. But I did win the race. Yay me, especially for never driving a car. Ran a 7.515 and my RP that I got is 224. Now what I like to do, and I'm going to work on doing a video to demonstrate this, is how the stars differentiate with your points that you get. And I'm going to do it based off of regulation races and off of the individual tiers. But as you can tell with this car, I got the 20% for the crew, 15% for the rare car, 10% for the freshness, but I don't have any elite bonus on it. When I look over at my Z28, everything is the same except I have a 10% bonus for the elite bonus. And that 10% elite bonus adds up over time. So 224 per race versus 226, one race doesn't make any difference. But if you do 25 races, those 2 points adds up to be 50 points. And if you do 4 of these sets of races in this particular season, that 50 points now becomes 200 points. Every little bit of points adds up to be able to contribute to your crew, especially if you're not playing a whole lot, and especially if you're not contributing to your crew as much as you want to. So doing those little points there is nickel and diming more benefits that you can provide to your crew. So how you can tell what your car is worth on points wise, you can take it into regulation. Now in this particular car, the Z28, I can take it in a tier 5 regulation race and I get a little bit more out of it. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that pro and do this as a quick demo. And after I get done with this, I'm gonna go ahead and end the thing because it seems like everybody's bored and everybody's done. And I'm gonna knock out this race, show off the point differential there, and we're gonna call it a day. Thanks everybody for being able to watch. I appreciate your time and your attention. Feel free to comment below the video once the video is posted. Feel free to like, feel free to subscribe. And as always, MrXsee is here to spend time with you, give you demonstration of the game, and help you become a better efficient racer at CSR Racing 2. So until we talk again, have a great day. Thanks. Peace. By the way, that was 241 because I raced it at a tier 5 race. When you race at different tiers, you get different points based off of that. If I had raced this as a tier 4 car, I would have got 226. But with all that said, we're going to go ahead and call this stream a day. Until we talk, have a great one.